I'm obsessed with movies. I watch so many movies. Brett Ratner is like my fucking nemesis. I hate this guy. Maybe this is coming across. In this stream. I don't like this guy, and I've never liked this guy. The dude can't make a fucking film. Terrible director. Terrible person. Is dating Serena Williams. You believe that? This guy, here is with the Williams sisters, and they had a show that was called Venus and Serena. For real. I looked because I'd seen this clip. This existed. The tweets that every article cites, which was just a little clip from the show, deleted. Doesn't exist. It's not on the archive, not on the Wayback Machine. I looked all over the internet for this video. I could not find it. It's nowhere to be found. If anyone can find it, please send it to me because it is the worst thing I've ever seen, and I would love to see it again. God, I wish I could have found the video. You got it already? Oh my God, Steubens. So you dug up the actual episode this is from and like edited it together and uploaded it during the stream? Oh my God. Dude, you are the fucking MVP right now. Hey, it's the Goblin Queen. Now, I do have some shit to go over. Believe it or not, I actually have something fairly planned out. So let's start with this.
Here we go again.
So wacky. This is the trailer for the Melania Trump documentary that's coming out January 30th. Melania, official trailer, 2026. And I just love that it just starts out with a fucking like Bugs Bunny line. Here we go again. Is there something really like this? Does this seem like AI to anyone else?
Here we go again.
That doesn't seem real. I don't know. It's all really polished and stuff. Who knows?
You can come in. Come on in. After honest legacy,
Is that a bit loud? Or no, I think it's...
you will be then a peacemaker.
Peacemaker in the fire.
Witness history. The historical moment when Melania picked out an envelope for the White House Christmas card or something.
Beautiful. Together, with like-minded leaders, we have a voice.
20 days. 20 days to become First Lady. So I'm guessing that means this is before the election? I don't really know. There's Barron. Look at that freak. Look how tall that kid is. I think I'm happy Barron's at an age now where I think it's acceptable to make fun of him.
Everyone wants to know, so here it is.
She's like sitting in a fucking voice booth reading some stupid line someone wrote.
Hi, Mr. President. Congratulations.
Did you watch it?
I did not. Yeah, I will see it on the news.
Fucking, how the fuck is the economy like this? And like people with fucking gold marble fucking houses are still allowed to exist. This is fucking Versailles shit. This is like French Revolution. Like, this is what people are like starving in the streets and Melania Trump's hanging out in a room that looks like this. What happened? What happened to humans? I thought that we didn't like, I thought just it was a natural human urge to just be repulsed by this.
Congratulations.
Did you watch it?
I did not. Yeah, I will see it on the news.
Melania. Yeah, okay. Exclusively in theaters. It's funny it says that. It's like, don't get the wrong idea. This is funded by Amazon, but it's not direct to Prime. Like, this is going to be a big hit. It's going out there. I can't imagine any of the hardest of hardcore maggots will even watch this. This is going to flop hard. Oh, I'm sure there's enough interesting info on her to fill a documentary. It just died with Epstein and Brunel. Okay, so one thing in here that doesn't ever come up is who directed it. It never in this says who the director of this like really cool movie is.
Here we go again.
Sorry, I just had to play that again. Does it say in the description? Comments are turned off. Wise. Yes, it does. Directed by Brett Ratner. Oh, Brett Ratner. Who's that guy? Who's he? I've heard of him. Brett Ratner is a name you may remember because he's showed up in the Epstein files. Remember this picture? Here, I'll show it to you on the Department of Justice website. And here we have, speaking of Jean-Luc, there is Jean-Luc Brunel, the smiling Frenchman. I don't know why I call him that. And here he is with Brett Ratner, Bretty boy, Brett man, the rat man, the rat-headed rat. Does Brett Ratner have a nickname? He really seems like a guy who would have a nickname, you know? Like people will be like, oh, you haven't met our friend Pubes. Yeah, I sort of think that's what people call him, Pubes. Like, you haven't met Pubes yet? Yo, Pubes, get over here. And it's like Brett Ratner. He's like, hey, I directed Rush Hour. And you're like, your name's Pubes? He's like, yeah, what can I say? It just fits. What am I talking about? Well, Brett Ratner is a guy who I've been aware of. And for many, many years, I found him a hilarious guy to make fun of. And then at a certain point, it became less funny because it turns out he's kind of like actually a monster. And now he's back in the news, and I'm sort of fascinated by it. So let me explain. So here is Jean-Luc Brunel, for those of you guys who are maybe new to Epstein or whatever. Brunel is an extremely high up person in the Epstein hierarchy of, the Epstein operation. Basically, he's as close to Epstein as Ghislaine was. He was Epstein's model scout. For many, many years, he and Epstein owned a company called MC2 Modeling. He would travel the world looking for young girls, underage girls, that he would bring from third world countries. They don't speak a lot of English, and then bring them to Epstein, traffic them to Epstein. He and Epstein would participate in orgies together, as recounted by Virginie Giuffre in her book, with these young girls, and they liked when they couldn't speak English very well because it made them easier to control, I guess. Really, really fucking crazy shit. So here's a photo recently popped up of Jean-Luc Brunel, who, as someone mentioned, I think it might have been Mark J in the Discord, was saying like he's as guilty as anyone in the whole Epstein saga. Brunel with his shirt off, laughing, hanging out with Ratner. They're probably on coke. Knowing both of these guys, they're probably on coke or at least maybe drunk. A little bit too much energy for just alcohol, though. So this was already bad because the fucking Melania Trump documentary thing comes out, and then like, boom, right away, it's like, oh shit. The next day, not literally the next day, but very shortly after that documentary dropped, it's like, whoops, the director of that's in the fucking Epstein files. But who is Brett Ratner? Who's Brett Ratner? Well, he's an Instagram user. He's an Aries. He's a prince. He's a lot of things. To tell you the truth, he's a multifaceted guy. He's a director, producer, big Hollywood guy. But most importantly, I would say this guy is one of the world's purest douchebags. This guy is like literally when I hear the word douchebag, this is who I think of. Brett Ratner. Here he is with Quentin Tarantino. He lives in Israel, I believe, although he might be trying to move back to the U.S. I'm talking about Brett Ratner. Quentin Tarantino does live in Israel. This guy is a fucking douche. So my goal today is to kind of tell you a little bit about Brett Ratner, okay, number one. Number two, convince you that this guy's a fucking huge piece of shit. And number three, I also want to tell you why there's been some other Epstein files that have been released, not just the one I showed you already, not just this one. There's been other ones with him that I believe are probably, or at least they are the closest thing that we have yet to actual sexual blackmail material involving people in Epstein's circle. So that is coming. So like it's pretty big, I think. Okay, is that enough of like a tease? Are you guys like, is your interest peaked yet? All right, let's go into it. So I got his IMDb page here. Brett Ratner is one of Hollywood's most successful filmmakers. His diverse films resonate with audiences worldwide, and as a director, his films have grossed over $2 billion. Okay, we'll get into all that. He has had some movies do really well. They're all fucking bad. Critical fucking bombs. But all right, here we go. Oh, he's 5'8". God, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being short king here, or short prince, as I guess Brett Ratner thinks he's a prince. But it annoys me that he's overcome his shortness and like achieved so much in his life. We'll get into it. Let's look through his filmography. So he started his career in the 90s. Yeah, 1990. And he was a music video director. LL Cool J, Prime Minister Pete Nice and Daddy Rich, Onyx, Heavy D and the Boys. And he had some connections to the music industry, I think just by coincidence, like people he went to university with. He had connections to the modeling world, I believe. His wife at the time, Rebecca Gayheart, they were married in 1986, was a model. And, a lot of like rap videos and stuff have a lot of sexy girls in them. So he did like a lot of like big music videos. Anybody like recognize any of these? D'Angelo, Brown Sugar. Like this is kind of big, right? Mary J. Blige, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Lionel Richie, Don't Want to Lose You. Foxy Brown featuring Jay-Z. Wu-Tang Clan. Public Enemy. All kinds of stuff like that. Honestly, this is when he was kind of at his best. He was kind of built for this sort of filmmaking, I do think. He should have kept making music videos, but he didn't. He moved on. He gets a movie, Money Talks. I haven't seen it. Can't really speak on it. Then he does his biggest hit, Rush Hour. This is in 1998. All right. Oh, yeah. Money Talks is also with Chris Tucker. So he worked with Chris Tucker on Rush Hour. I know that there was kind of like a thing of, what's it called? There's a thing where people were the Hollywood was kind of like, no, we're going to pass. Jackie Chan's famous in China, but he's not a box office draw here. And so there's a whole thing about how, people doubted it could become big, and then it became a massive hit. And that was, I think, definitely the biggest success of his filmmaking career. Or I don't know, maybe like Rush Hour 2 or 3 were good just from like name recognition. But yeah, I remember like this movie being very big when I was growing up. I would have been 9 years old in 1998, and all of my friends were talking about it. Moving on, more music videos. Mariah Carey. Now, he and Mariah Carey are like close friends. We'll get into a little bit of that later. I'm jumping ahead a little bit here. Let me show you a picture from the 1999 MTV Movie Awards. Shout out to Pie Charm on the TrueAnon subreddit. Pie Charm has collected a bunch of photos that I'm going to be referring back to throughout this stream here. Here's Brett Ratner with his wife at the time, Rebecca Gayheart. I mentioned she's a model. I think she was like a child model back in the day, but he put her in a couple of music videos as the background girl or whatever. So here they are in 1999, still together. I wouldn't describe Ratner as a music industry guy, more of a Hollywood guy. Racial buddy cop movies? Oh, now, no. But at the beginning, though, big time, he was music industry and like doing surprisingly big videos. It's one of those things, right? The same way that Epstein used women to meet people and his connection to models to network with powerful billionaires and stuff like that. I don't know if Brett Ratner was doing anything weird. I just know that the guy had these modeling connections, and he somehow also was very big, very, very good at meeting really rich people and getting them to do what he wants or just to hang out with them. And like Epstein, actually, his one actual fucking skill in Hollywood is that he's so good at talking to rich people. Rich people love this guy. They meet Ratner and they're like, yes, this is the guy I've been waiting for. He's amazing. And so yes, I should also mention they divorced this year as well, 1999. This is maybe the last picture of them together. Who knows? They divorced shortly after this. Now, in 2000, he made a movie called Family Man. That's with Nicolas Cage, one of our greatest living actors. I mean that genuinely. I love Nicolas Cage. I actually haven't seen this movie. Nicolas Cage and Téa Leoni. And this guy, I've opened up an article from The Observer about a Olympic Tower condo owned by Adnan Khashoggi, close friend of Epstein's, arms dealer, involved in Iran-Contra, mega wealthy billionaire, owned a fucking huge yacht that was later sold to, I don't know, some Sultan of Brunei or something, and then sold to Donald Trump, and now it's back owned by another Saudi billionaire. But anyway, Adnan Khashoggi, not quite sure. I'm just going to keep saying it the way that I want. Khashoggi had a massive fucking condo in New York, I guess, Fifth Avenue. And during the filming of Family Man, according to one Post report, it was rented in December to director Brett Ratner as a location for a sex scene between Nicolas Cage and model Amber Valletta. I don't know. For the director's next film, Family Man, due out in December. So again, there's like, models or whatever. Like, I mean, it's a sex scene. It's not like somebody's actually being trafficked, but this is like Ratner is like casting models in his films, whatever. He's doing all this kind of stuff. And I don't want to draw any conclusions from that, but I will in my head. I just won't say them out loud because that feels irresponsible. But remember what I'm saying. This guy is so good at cozying up to rich people. Adnan Khashoggi, he rented out his fucking apartment to film a movie scene in. You know what I mean? Like this is weird. This is weird stuff. All right. Anyway, next was 2001. You know it. You love it. You're quoting all the lines. Rush Hour 2. Another big, big hit. 2002, the worst Hannibal Lecter movie, for my money. Really, really bad. Yeah, it's like a sequel to Silence of the Lambs, which is like, I don't know, is Silence of the Lambs the best horror movie ever made? Or is it the best movie ever made? It's one of those two. Nah, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't say that, but it's so good. Silence of the Lambs won a fucking Oscar. Yeah, Nephew's Bonesaw, that's right. Jamal Khashoggi, MBS, Mr. Bonesaw, as you guys are pointing out. Old goblin heads will know what we're referencing there. I'm missing you guys jokes here. This is good stuff. Keep it up. Anyway, it's Red Dragon. I just want to say, fucking Silence of the Lambs, so good. It won an Oscar as a horror movie. You know how hard it is for a horror movie, even a really, really good one, to get above 60% on Rotten Tomatoes? That never happens. They're genre films, okay? It would be like if fucking Anchorman won an Oscar. Silence of the Lambs won an Oscar, and that is like an outright horror movie. A very, very good movie. And then the fucking sequel, Red Dragon, is directed by Brett Ratner, and it's a piece of shit. Okay, it's bad. But I do have a fun photo from the premiere of Red Dragon. You ready? Just try and guess who he's with in this picture before I show. Try and guess who. All right, you have in your mind who he's with? Did you guess Chelsea Clinton? This is Chelsea Clinton and Brett Ratner at the Red Dragon premiere in 2002 at the Red Dragon after party. Oh, the after party. And after the party, it's the after party. All right, so there we go. This was a real jump scare. I was kind of going through these earlier, and I was like, okay. Whoa, Chelsea Clinton. Wow, okay. Did not expect that one. All right. Anyway, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I don't know. She just likes to party, I guess. Now, that's 2002. Here is another photo from 2003, and we've got Brett Ratner, okay, Michael Jackson, and Robert Effens and Al Malnick. This is the Palm Beach International Film Festival. So Brett Ratner, I should also mention, close friends with Michael Jackson, close friends with MJ, stays over at Neverland Ranch constantly, at this time. I mean, not anymore, obviously, but stays over there all the time. He had like a funny story he told on Kimmel. It's only 2 minutes, and I got beer to sip, so let's listen to this fun story from America's coolest guy.
What a credit. Yeah. Wow. That's Redman for you. And now Michael Jackson, I know you're a friend of Michael Jackson. Yeah. Did you meet him from a music video?
No, I met him, when I did the first Rush Hour, and that's a long, crazy story, but people, don't really know Michael as well as I did, really. And
Most people don't.
Well, yeah, but they think they know him, but he was probably one of the funniest human beings ever, and he would...
For real?
No, really, and all he wanted...
Really, Michael Jackson was funny?
Wanted to do was practical jokes on people, and I'll never forget, I would sleep in the Elizabeth Taylor suite when she wasn't there at Neverland.
Okay.
And
Elizabeth Taylor suite, sorry, if you didn't know what that meant when I said that just offhandedly, that's Michael Jackson had a suite in his house specifically for Elizabeth Taylor to stay in. A lot of billionaires have this, like Ron Burkle, another guy who hung out in these same crowds with Michael Jackson and Diddy and whatever, and Ratner. He has a room in his house for Bill Clinton. If you have that much money, you don't just have guest rooms. You have that room's for my friend, this guy, that room's for this guy, that room's for this guy. So he would stay in Elizabeth Taylor's room. So he wasn't like Elizabeth Taylor close to MJ. He didn't have his own room at Neverland Ranch, but he got to stay in a nice one.
You always felt like you were being watched constantly, like there was hidden cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was sleeping one night, and his voice, because there's an intercom system, and he goes, "Brett?" I go, "Yes." I was sleeping. I woke up. He goes, "Are you sleeping?" I go, "Yes." He goes, "Wake up. I'm sending Kato to come get you." And I'm like, he had a limo driver who was a short Japanese guy named Kato that he would make wear a tuxedo and a hat. And he had the longest stretch limousine you've ever seen in my life. So Kato comes, he goes, "You could stay in your jammies." So I stayed in my pajamas. I go, "Where are we going?" "We're going to 7-Eleven. "What are we doing?" He goes, "You'll see. Here, put this on." I go, "What is that?" It was a mask. I said, "I don't need a mask, Michael." He puts on I go, "I'm not Michael Jackson. Maybe you need a mask." He puts on a Hulk mask and says, "Go into the bathroom, meet me in the bathroom." I go, "This is getting strange, okay?" 4 in the morning, we're in Santa Barbara in a 7-Eleven. "You want me to meet you?" "Buy some balloons." He comes in the bathroom, we start filling up water balloons, and he literally sends me out to the car. We filled up about 100 balloons. We get back in the car. I'm like, "Where are we going?" He goes, "You'll see." We're driving down empty road. I said, "What are we looking for?" He goes, "You'll see." No one is in sight. It's 4 in the morning in Santa Barbara off the freeway. All of a sudden, there's I guess he must have been like a homeless guy just walking on the side of the expressway. And the guy is just literally walking like this. And Michael Jackson says, "Kato, hit the brakes!" and he slams on the brakes. And I literally look out the window, and this guy's like this. Like he thinks that he's going to be attacked. And all of a sudden, Michael Jackson pops out of the sunroof with the Hulk mask on. Imagine how scared this guy was at 4 in the morning. And he goes like this, and the guy's like this. He doesn't know which way to go, and he can't see. It's only a water balloon, and he whips the water balloon at him, and the guy just starts running in the other direction. Goes, "Kato, throw it in reverse!" And literally, I'm like freaking out. I'm like,
I wonder if his Michael Jackson impression is the same as his Chris Tucker impression.
Literally, we catch up to the guy, and the guy just stops, and he just hits him with the water balloon, and he goes, "Kato, go!" And we run off, and I'm like, Do you think the police are not going to know Michael Jackson with a Hulk mask and a stretcher is throwing? And we laughed the whole night. I couldn't even go to, it was like the craziest thing I ever
That's the craziest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think that's a very funny story, but okay. I mean, I don't even know if this is something Michael Jackson did, because it sounds a lot like a stupid, like, Brett Ratner joke from a stupid Brett Ratner movie. Like, okay, he threw a water balloon at a homeless guy, whatever. All right, that's fun. Anyway, who knows if that's real or not? Let's keep going here. In 2004, After the Sunset comes out, another Brett Ratner movie. I don't even remember this. What was this? Oh, okay. Pierce Brosnan, Salma Hayek, Woody Harrelson. I don't know. I don't remember this at all. But okay. Yeah, that definitely looks like a movie. I believe that this is a real movie. I don't know. I don't have any evidence of that being the case. Okay, if you say so. If you say so, yeah, sure. And I think that same year, 2004, we have Brett Ratner, Paris Hilton, Nikki Hilton, and the guy on the right is Russell Simmons. Now, Russell Simmons, I think he had been friends with Ratner for a long time. Hang on. Let me just quickly fact check that. Russell Simmons, Brett Ratner. Russell Simmons and Brett Ratner face new allegations of sexual. Okay, no, that's not right. Watching his Russell Simmons sexually. No. Russell Simmons sexual misconduct. Okay, so everything I look up with both these guys' names is a fucking sex crime. Okay, never mind. But yes, later on, the two of them are involved in a rape accusation. And then we have 2004. This is Kevin Spacey, Brett Ratner, and Dana Brunetti at the Toronto Film Festival. Fun. Let me zoom in a bit for you guys. Hang on. You want to get the whole vibe. Brett Ratner, this is something that I actually think is fine, does not like to dress up. You know, like with Fetterman, I know people are like, guy looks like fucking shit. That's like the one thing that's cool about him. He doesn't wear suits. You know, I think that's cool. But yeah, Brett Ratner looks fucking gross. All right. Here he is with Naomi Campbell in 2004 at KOS opening party. I'm not sure what KOS is. Is that like a club or a restaurant or something? But another Epstein affiliate. Okay, now this is the thing this is one of the things I really don't like. 2004. So Brett Ratner is dating fucking Serena Williams at this point. You believe that shit? He's dating Serena Williams. This guy. So here he is with the Williams sisters at the Juicy Couture swimsuit launch. And, 2005, he does Prison Break, the show. And 2005, there's a Serena. So I looked because I'd seen this clip. I looked all over the internet for this video. I could not find it. It's nowhere to be found. If anyone can find it, please send it to me because it is the worst thing I've ever seen, and I would love to see it again. The dude so they had a show. It was called Venus and Serena. For real. 2005 reality TV. I remember seeing this. This existed. The fucking tweet that every article cites, which was just a little clip from the show, deleted. Doesn't exist. It's not on the archive, not on the fucking Wayback Machine. I can't find it. But it was fucking infuriating. So he's dating, again, I can't stress this enough, Serena Williams, one of history's greatest athletes, famous, beautiful woman, is dating Brett Ratner. And there's a clip that went viral. It was from a show in 2005, but people didn't care about anything back then. And then it went viral in 2017 for reasons that we'll get to. But here we go. In the footage, a wired up and mic'd Serena was sitting with Ratner in the stands to watch her sister Venus playing tennis against somebody. Who cares? Sorry, that's disrespectful, but I just don't know who these people are. Serena can be heard getting mad at the director of Rush Hour and Red Dragon several times and pushing him back when he tries to kiss her 3 times. Brett Ratner was accused of sexual misconduct in 2001 to 2005. Okay, that was later. But yeah, it was happening during this time. Anyway, Ratner then starts begging her to give me some love. Show me that you care. 8-time Miami Open winner Serena, who recently had a baby girl with, it's like, fucking, I hate how these gossip sites write, fiance and Reddit co-founder Alex Ohanian, tells Ratner, can you stop? You're being very disturbing. Ratner then turns his attention to his girlfriend's sister playing tennis, Venus, and starts shouting, sexy legs. He shouts sexy legs several times at his girlfriend's sister on the fucking field. There is more to it. I remember, God, I really wish I could have found the video. But anyway, suffice to say, okay, it's so insane that this happened. And the fact that he's short makes it worse for me. And again, nothing against short kings, but like, this guy's not charming. This guy's not charming. How did he do this? Serena, I don't know. Serena, I got nothing. I got nothing but respect for these ladies. They worked hard. They've achieved great things. I do think some of the things I've heard Serena say, I think she's sort of maybe she's one of those people who like became famous too young and sort of, lost the ability to judge people, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to say any more than that. But Stubbins, please, you were born for this job. Can you find that video? Here, I'll send you a link to the article we were just at if you want. It's not super important. Hang on. Here we go. Questionable dating history for Serena. I mean, I don't know about it. Yeah, like Alex Ohanian, I mean, sure, whatever. He's like a Reddit billionaire. Oh, Drake. Right. Yes, Serena did date Drake. She did date Drake. Yeah, she dates a lot of like schlubby guys with weird fucking political views and allegations. You got it already? Oh my God, stupid. Oh my God. Yes, you're the savior. All right, here we go.
Family presents an all-new Venus and Serena for real.
Wait, oh my God, Stubbins. This is you? Oh my God. So you actually, that's so funny. So you dug up the actual episode this is from and like edited it together and uploaded it during the stream? Oh my God. Dude, you are the fucking MVP right now. That's crazy that you did that. That's amazing. I mean, sorry. It's great. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. No, you know what? Like you've said before, like you're good at finding shit, and this is evidence of that. Well done. Well done. All right. Okay. Hang on. We got to just appreciate this. That's so awesome that you did that. All right. Okay. I'm so glad you did that. Thank you so much. I thought you were going to be able to find it like just somewhere, but it's not up anywhere, is it? Right? Like it's gone. But okay. Well done. And I can't believe how fast you did that. All right. Here we go.
Now, ABC Family presents an all-new Venus and Serena for real.
Oh, can you guys read that? It's very small. He's talking to his fucking girlfriend. Do you play tennis anymore, or are you just a celebrity? He says to her. His girlfriend.
I was going to play, but Zena didn't want me to. Zena, the captain.
Why?
Because it would be bad for her. She didn't want me to jeopardize my future this year.
With your ankle?
Yeah. Brett and I have been dating for a while, but it's kind of hard because we live so far apart that we hardly...
There's a bunch of clips where he like tries to like touch her and she's kind of like leaning away, like that one.
We live so far apart that we hardly ever get to see each other. What are you doing in New York for 7 days?
I'm hanging out with Puffy and JD.
I was hanging out with Puffy, aka Diddy. Called him Puffy at that period of time. He's had many names.
Show me that you care.
Look at it, give me some love. Show me that you care. He's like touching her, trying to get her to touch him. He's like grabbing her hands.
Show me that you care.
You have to care about me. You wanted to be
in his fucking whiny boyfriend voice. No, give me some. No, you care about me.
Show me that you care.
About me. You wanted to be in New York for 7 days.
Williams has got talents on the run.
Barrett, can you stop this? Can you watch my sister play, please? You're being very disturbing. I've been home for 3 weeks, and I've asked you nicely and kindly not to come for 24 hours. You'd come on Saturday and you'd leave on Sunday, and I'm sorry, but that's just not enough for me. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I can understand 2 months, but it's been since July.
It's for old Williams. She's starting to look like her old self.
Let's go, Venus!
Sexy legs!
Killer!
I knew I remembered him yelling sexy legs at Venus more than once. I'm glad to have that validated. Yeah. He's on a reality show, so he's mic'd up. I don't know. He's not really acting like he knows he's being recorded, but he is just kind of a sleazy motherfucker.
How do you want to be my girlfriend?
I don't want to be. I want to see other people. Like you.
We have an open relationship.
No, we don't have a relationship. That's too bad. Didn't work.
So, okay. You know what? I'm remembering. He did know he was being recorded. He sort of comments on it in a second. But he goes, right there, she goes, I don't think we should see each other. And he's like, you want an open relationship? She's breaking up with him. I think he's probably trying to talk quietly enough that, the mic can't pick him up.
It's too bad it didn't work out between us.
Is this the breakup episode?
Now he talks to his regular, is this the breakup episode? Goes in for a kiss.
They don't do this on Nick and Jessica's show. Do they kiss?
Still trying to...
No, I don't watch it too much.
Match point.
Anyway... Yeah, like I'm sorry to put you guys through that, and I know that me like pausing it again and again was crazy, but I just I couldn't live with myself if you guys only heard the like 1 paragraph long description of that. This aired in 2005. It resurfaced later. But yeah, fucking piece of shit guy. Like I feel like I've made the case, right? Like I've made the case at this point. Brett Ratner, world's biggest douchebag. I have been like this guy's number 1 hater for fucking years, I feel like. Anyway, again though, fucking round of applause for Stubbins. Stubbins, you are the king. Oh, it was contiguous like that in the episode. I edited to keep the ABC Family intro. Okay. Yo, well done, man. You should tweet that. Tweet this out. Because like Ratner's in the news again and with like the Melania Trump documentary and shit. Like that clip doesn't exist anymore online. This is lost media, you know? So you clip that. That would be a fucking, yeah, I would retweet that for sure. Was Spacey in any Ratner movies? Great question. I don't think so. Although maybe. That's a really good question. I mean, there is a connection sort of where Spacey was in a Bryan Singer movie, which was Usual Suspects. Bryan Singer, another fucking pedophile, a Hollywood pedophile who now lives in Israel. You know, say how you guys are talking about that. Spacey also living in Israel, but he was in, so he was in that with him, and then Brett Ratner directed X-Men 3, The Last Stand, where he took over from his friend Bryan Singer. So he's friends with Bryan Singer, and Bryan Singer's friends with Spacey, and all 3 of them lived in Israel. Moving on here. 2006 is a fucking X-Men The Last Stand. If you guys, like, I mean, hey, listen. X-Men The Last Stand is a fucking dog shit movie. Horrible fucking movie. And, like, I'm not just saying that because I dislike Brett Ratner and I think he's a rapist. I do also dislike, you know, Bryan Singer, and he is a kind of pedophile rapist, but his X-Men movies were really good. Like he came along when in like a sea of like atrocious superhero movies, and X-Men 1 and X-Men 2 were good. I realize I sound crazy right now, but this came out in 2006. I feel like it was acceptable to have strong opinions about fucking Marvel movies in 2006. This was before MCU. This is like a different fucking property, all right? This movie was dog shit. Completely butchered the fucking Phoenix plot line, brought people back from the dead, stupid use of Wolverine, really, really dumb. Listen, all comic book movies essentially suck ass. I agree, okay? Listen, I'm cool like you guys. It's 2025. We can say that now. But I do like comic books, and I remember being furious about this movie. Think less of me if you will, but it was a different time. It was a different time back then, okay? This is when, you know, okay, I don't have to explain myself to you guys, all right? I didn't like this movie. It's bad. It's really bad, and everyone hated it. But anyway, he took over the reins because Bryan Singer dropped out. He wasn't going to direct it. Bryan Singer, again, pedophile, moved to Israel. Now he's in Israel trying to restart his film career. We'll get to that. This is going to be a theme in this of pedophiles and rapists moving to Israel. All right. A lot of people in this story you'll find moved to Israel. In 2006, here is Brett Ratner at the Cannes Film Festival. This was for The Last Stand. Alina Puskow, Petra Nemkova, Brett Ratner, Hofit Golan. I think these are all models. I'm not totally sure. Don't really recognize these people. Scott Henshaw. Cool. 2007. Guess what? Brett Ratner back to the fucking old money bag, the money purse, with and more fucking Mariah Carey videos, by the way. Jessica Simpson, These Boots Are Made for Walking. I remember that. I remember that music video. I remember pausing and rewinding that music video as a horny teenager. Oh, and how could I miss this? Prison Break. He executive produced Prison Break in 2005. Which I never saw, but I heard good things, I guess. I don't know. Was it good? Did he make a good show? I don't know. Moving on, The Last Stand, more Jessica Simpson. This is what I was looking for. Rush Hour 3. Oh, also Mariah Carey, Touch My Body, 2008. Damn, I forgot about that. Yeah. So Rush Hour 3 comes out. Here is Brett Ratner at the premiere with another one of his fucking friends, Roman Polanski, another Hollywood pedophile. This guy, like all his friends. I mean, this guy, if you're in the modeling world, yeah, all your friends are going to be pedophile rapists. That's just how the modeling industry works. If you're in Hollywood, like it's possible to have a career in Hollywood, I think, while avoiding that, but certainly not, it's certainly possible to not to do that. And it seems Brett Ratner has chosen the other one. Yes, this is Roman Polanski, Brett Ratner, and Morgane Polanski at the Rush Hour 3 premiere. You can see a poster of Jackie Chan in the background there. So yes, this is 2007. I graduate from high school. Yeah. And to be fair, yeah, like a lot of Hollywood was when Polanski won for The Pianist, won the Oscar, he got like a standing ovation from like everybody. So you know what? Honestly, I do think this is an example of like times have changed kind of thing, you know? Polanski, though, he did something different. Yeah, he didn't go to Israel. You're right. He went to France. That's kind of anti-Semitic. Like, if you're a pedophile, you go to Israel's the place. Like, they got you. France? Nah, come on now. Oh, yeah. Ton of Hollywood big shots signed the pro-Polanski letter. Yeah. Tarantino did defend him talking about underage party girls. He did say this on Howard Stern. That was true. See, when it comes to canceling people who are terrible, you know, like Brett Ratner, I never fucking liked that guy's movies. Movies, like, as I'm saying, the movies are terrible. Woody Allen, amazing filmmaker, incredible director. His movies are really hard to watch now because they're all about basically how it's cool to date like high school girls. Like every one of his movies is like starts with a rich older man who either is played by Woody Allen or played by like a guy who looks and acts like Woody Allen, picking up his girlfriend from the fucking high school. Manhattan movie where he dates a high school girl. Woody Allen, one of Woody Allen's movies, he dates a high school girl who was attending Dalton Academy, the high school where Epstein was fucking a teacher. I mean, not fucking a teacher. He was a teacher there. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're moving on to 2007. This is Russell Simmons' 50th birthday party. So here's Brett Ratner with Russell Simmons and Kimora Lee Simmons. All right, we got the three of these guys. Two of them will be involved in sex scandal later on. Oh, I do want to mention. So sorry, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here. He also does a fucking short in the terrible anthology film New York, I Love You. This was supposed to be, there's a French version of this called Paris, Je t'aime, Paris, I Love You. And it was a bunch of directors did short films that took place in Paris and they were like romantic or whatever. And that one was good. I mean, like whatever. It's an anthology. There's pros and cons. There's ups and downs. Some of them it's inconsistent, I guess, but there's some really good ones in there. There's one with Steve Buscemi that I liked. Anyway, and then this came out. By the way, this is like so you can see like, you know, I'm graduated high school. I'm in university. I'm going to film school. I'm like obsessed with movies. I watched so many movies during this time. Brett Ratner is like my fucking nemesis. He's my nemi. All right, he's my fucking like. I hate this guy. Maybe this is coming across. In this stream. I don't like this guy, and I've never liked this guy. Yeah, anyway, he does a short for New York, I Love You, the fucking American remake of that idea, and this movie fucking sucks in comparison. Okay, you're just gonna have to take my word on it. I don't have any empirical evidence. You just gotta watch it. I still recommend it. You just gotta watch it. It's kind of an experience. It's a real cinematic experience. It's a real night at the movies. All right, now. I've found this picture from the old My Mag. I had to show you guys. Brett Ratner, his good friend, Michael Jackson, and Diddy. And yo, this is not a tangent, I swear. Is this the same one? Because Ron Burkle's pictured with them too. Ron Burkle, Diddy, Michael Jackson. Let's find out. Let's find out. This is another time we're looking to see if Michael Jackson was wearing the same shirt. Okay, here he is with Diddy. Yo, it totally is. There's one with all three. Yeah. So look at this. It's MJ, Diddy, and Ron Burkle. And yo, it's the same night. He was there too. Ratner was at the fucking party. Oh my God. So Ron Burkle, if you don't know him, he bought Neverland Ranch after fucking MJ died. And I actually mentioned him earlier this stream. He's the fucking grocery store billionaire who has a room in his house for Bill Clinton. He was also on the Lolita Express. He's also friends with Epstein. He flew on the Lolita. He was on the fucking Africa trip. He went on the Lolita Express. He flew to Africa with like Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, blah, 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 Shantae Davis. Oh my God. I don't even know what to do with that. I just found that out right now. Guys, because usually I plan these out in advance. So like you missed the moment where I'm like, what? Oh my God. But now you're actually seeing like this is a real reaction from me. This is the same night, or it's not the same night, and they just wore the same clothes and stayed in a room with the same weird curtain wall, a gray curtain wall. Look at the fucking smashed Ratner looks. Insane. Absolutely insane. All right. Moving on. Yes, true. Ron Burkle was also the godfather of Diddy's kids. Oy vey. Yeah. And he's also in the Epstein files. You know the photo of those photos of Epstein and Bill Clinton wearing weird shirts? Burkle's in there too. Well, this one. Now, I want the one with Burkle in it. They cropped Burkle out. Who's protecting Ron Burkle? I can't find it. But if you know what I'm talking about, the Epstein files where they've got these shirts on, those weird fucking shirts. This must have been on the Africa trip, I think. Because Burkle's in there too, and he's wearing one of those like silk, shiny, weird fucking Dan Flash shirts. What the fuck is this? What on earth? Don't know. Don't do this. Don't do that. All right. Now, we've got to talk now about Tower Heist. Here's the Tower Heist premiere. Tower Heist is a movie with Gabor Sidibe, a bunch of other people, and it comes out in 2011. We've got Brian Grazer, a Hollywood mega producer. He's also one of the, maybe, is this right? Am I just completely having a brain fart right now? Or is Brian Grazer one of the richest and famous celebrities who's still a Donald Trump guy today? But Donald Trump's his literal friend, it looks like. So here's Brian Grazer, Donald Trump, you know him, Brett Ratner. You might know her from the upcoming documentary, Melania Trump, and Diddy. All in a line here. Look at this. This is from the Tower Heist premiere. Now, funny fun fact about the movie Tower Heist. I know way more about fucking Brett Ratner than I should. And I remember I had a friend who was like, yo, you gotta see Tower Heist. It's actually really funny. Yeah. Eddie Murphy, Matthew Broderick, fucking, what's his name? Michael Pena. So this is a movie where they steal from a tower. And originally, in the script for the movie, it was written about Trump Tower. It was supposed to be, we're going to steal from Donald Trump, his friend Donald Trump, manager of a high-rise condo. More about fucking Brett Ratner than I should. And I remember I had a friend who was like, yo, you got to see Tower Heist. It's actually really funny. Yeah. Eddie Murphy, Matthew Broderick. Okay, here we go. So Donald Trump was involved in the filming. Filming took place entirely in New York City on a budget of $75 million, with several buildings provided by Donald Trump used to represent the eponymous tower. But I think that it was originally written. Yeah, here we go. Okay. The idea for Tower Heist began development as early as 2005 when Eddie Murphy pitched a concept to Brian Grazer and Brett Ratner concerning an all-star cast of black comedians, including Chris Tucker, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, Tracy Morgan, and Martin Lawrence, as a group of disgruntled employees who planned to rob Donald Trump. The film was originally titled Trump Heist. A script was developed, yada, 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 yada. Who cares? Okay. Feeling the original concept was too close to Ocean's 11, Ratner attempted to recruit Rush Hour screenwriter Nathanson. He's like, yeah, you know what we need is the guy who wrote Rush Hour, this fucking genius. Oh, he didn't. He was unavailable. He hired Griffin, a writer on the Ocean's 11 remake. That's hilarious. Griffin brought the real motivation and heart to the concept, moving away from the premise of performing an ensemble heist on a rich Donald Trump type and focusing instead on a group of blue-collar employees who take on a corrupt, thieving Bernie Madoff-like businessman who's embezzled their pensions. Ratner enjoyed the pitch, brought to Grazer, gave it his approval. Noah Baumbach did rewrites just for Stiller's character. That's hilarious. So he was like, this is not Jewish enough, maybe. Okay, who cares? Okay, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. But like, this whole thing it sounds like, and I haven't seen the movie, but it sounds like this movie was like very flattering to Donald Trump and made him look like a good guy and misunderstood, whatever you want to call it. And I guess Diddy was in it as well. Okay, enough on Tower Heist. Okay, 2011. All right, big fucking moment. Olivia Munn, you may remember her from John Mulaney's most recent few celebrity gossip scandals. Olivia Munn, she used to be like quite, I don't know, I heard about her a lot. She was like hosted a video game channel, and like a lot of nerds were really into her back in the day. And she wrote a book in 2011 called Suck It, Wonder Woman, The Misadventures of a Hollywood Geek. In Olivia Munn's memoir, the far too intimate details of a short relationship with a bigwig Hollywood director are amongst many tales she recalled from her early days in Hollywood. Details such as seeing a grown man in an oversized shirt holding his undersized manhood in hands glistening with shrimp fat. So here's some excerpts from the Olivia Munn book. We'll read this. So when she met Brett Ratner, "Don't you know who I am?" was exactly what I heard uttered by a fat, slobby, smug, and ridiculously rich and famous blockbuster film director at the very first movie premiere I attended. Was he for real with this? Apparently so. Cut, yelled the director as he hopped off his chair, Ratner. This scene needs more goddamn romance. At which point he waddled over to the lovemaking bed, undid his jeans. I could already sense that those must be the hardest working buttons in show business, and proceeded to dry hump the actress in order to demonstrate what he believed was a missing level of romance. The poor thing, her face sparkled with the sweat falling from his second or third chin. When he finally finished the assault, he barked, "Let's take 20. I'm pretty sure it would take a lot longer than that for his starlet to recover from the drama. Yeah, okay, so, we wouldn't necessarily write like that in the same thing, but yeah, glistening with shrimp fat. Moving on. Wait, he begged, slowly like in a bad horror movie. So this is later on. She finds herself in a trailer with Brett Ratner, the same guy. Wait, he begged. I guess she's like leaving. Slowly, like in a bad horror movie, I turned around once more. And I remember him. So okay, wait, come back. It's like the same thing with him and fucking Serena Williams. And he's like, he keeps trying to like touch her and kiss her, even when she's like, no, I'm breaking up with you. Wait, he begged. Slowly, like in a bad horror movie, I turned around once more. And I remember first noticing him wearing an Oxford shirt and holding a fistful of cocktail sauce smothered shrimp. He popped one down his throat and then another, the red sauce collecting like so much baby's blood at the corner of his smirking mouth before dribbling down his front and glistening and settling as the glistening stains on his shirt. This A-list schmuck then has the nerve to say, "You have such an interesting look. What ethnicity are you?" And this is where things crossed over from merely disturbing to downright horrific. That was the exact moment I noticed what was either a tiny gnarled doggy toy or this adult man's penis being stroked by his own stubby hand. He was masturbating right there with shrimp in one hand and me standing in front of him. Masturbating. I'm not even kidding. So this is a story that Olivia Munn told about Brett Ratner. He was jerking off in front of her in her, like alone in her, what was it, her trailer or her dressing room? Yeah, trailer. This is a Brett Ratner story. Now, this is in 2011, pretty disturbing stuff. Brett Ratner holding a tiny little piece of shrimp and then also in his other hand holding food. I don't know. I'm trying to make a joke there. I don't think that really worked. But actually, it didn't really matter. Okay, this was 2011. Okay, Me Too hadn't happened yet, and we didn't really care about this. And so here's an article from thesuperficial.com that I found called "Brett Ratner Banged Olivia Munn." This was their response, and so they go into what Brett Ratner said here. On Thursday, Ratner came clean, saying that he was that bigwig director, but denied ever having such glistening hands. Here's what Ratner's statement was, and remember what I said. This guy is the world's biggest douchebag. This is the platonic ideal of a douchebag. When you hear the word douchebag, think of Brett Ratner. Here's what he said. "Yeah, I used to date Olivia Munn, I'll be honest with everyone here. Back when she was Lisa. She wasn't Asian back then. She was hanging out on my set of After the Sunset. I banged her a few times, but I forgot her. Because she changed her name. I didn't know it was the same person. So when she auditioned for me for a TV show, I forgot her. She got pissed off. So she made up all these stories about me eating shrimp and masturbating in my trailer. And she talked about my shortcomings." Yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty rough. It's so, you notice this all the time when you're reading old stuff about, and this is the Huffington Post gave an article that's pretty similar. But what a fucking dickhead. "Yeah, she wasn't Asian back then. Her name's Lisa." It's okay, Asian people can be named Lisa, dude. That's crazy. Don't you listen to Blackpink? Okay, so that was a sex scandal, but it didn't really hit. It didn't really affect his life at all. This was before we cared about that. There you go. Shrimp on the left, shrimp on the right. I think that's what I should have done. Double fisting gnarled shrimp. All right. So this is going to be a little bit of a detour, but it's fucking crazy. So stay with me on this, guys. So in 2013, fucking movie 43, he does a segment in that. One of the worst comedy movies ever made. Literally. 2012 to 2013. Ratner forms Rat Pack Entertainment with Australian, let's call him for now, businessman James Packer. And then it emerges with Steve Mnuchin's company Dune to form Rat Pack Dune. Remember, you guys know Steve Mnuchin, right? Steve Mnuchin, this motherfucker. So funny that his name is Mnuchin and he doesn't have one. A chin, I mean. Steve Mnuchin. Remember seeing this weird fucking looking guy around all the time? He was Treasury Secretary for Donald Trump, for Trump 1. Total piece of shit. And before that, he was a fucking, evil, whatever, investment banker, film producer guy. And he formed a fucking company with Brett Ratner, was like close business partners with him. I mean, I'm showing a lot of the stuff that he's directed, but where he became rich was like producing movies. Aside from Rush Hour, he didn't really have hits. I guess X-Men 3 was a hit because people expected it to be good. I mean, you can make a bad movie can be a hit too. Anyway, doesn't matter. So they formed Rat Pack Entertainment. Now, Mnuchin, like that's a whole other can of worms. Just a crazy fucking Trump connection there. But I want to talk about Rat Pack Entertainment, the thing that this is a movie production company he formed with Australian businessman James Packer, who I did not know existed before I did this research, but is kind of a crazy guy. So we're going to do a little aside on Packer. I got lots of pictures of the guy because I think he looks very funny. The way he looks is hilarious to me, and I had to include a lot of photos of this human thumb. I guess that thumbs are human, but like a anthropomorphized thumb. If the thumb had been granted a wish from a fairy to be turned human, this is what this guy fucking looks like. But he is a billionaire, he's a casino hotel guy. He's kind of like an Australian Trump kind of character. His dad was a famous, rich billionaire media mogul. What was his name? Kerry Packer. His grandfather was Australian media proprietor Sir Frank Packer. This guy's old money. This guy's old Australia money. Now, funnily enough, we have an old fucking newspaper clipping from 1995. One of the most coveted Christmas invitations in Sydney, Australia. Yeah, I can't quite do an Australian accent. And I can't quite. I can't at all. I just feel like I'm just kind of like guessing what their like fucking vowel sounds are. But I'll try. I'll give it one more try. One of the most coveted Christmas invitations in Sydney was last night's proposed harbour cruise on a 100-foot yacht organised by trucking magnate Lindsay Fox. This might have something to do. Now I'm going Cockney. I'm going to stop. This might have something to do with the guests of honor, Ghislaine Maxwell, the beautiful, feisty 34-year-old daughter of the late disgraced media baron Robert Maxwell, and her millionaire American beau, Jeffrey Epstein, a property developer who is given to zipping around Manhattan in a Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit with a bunch of fucking 15-year-olds in the back. Blah, 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 blah. Among those invited on last night's cruise were James Packer and his new girlfriend, Denny Hines. Okay, so this guy was hanging out with Epstein and Ghislaine in 1995. That's a concerning time to be hanging out with them, the 90s. Just say all the vowels. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. Kudos. Nair. It's like they sort of sound like, those little things that you dump over and it makes like a little... So I feel when I try to speak Australian. So he partied with Epstein and Ghislaine in 1985. Here he is with Ratner. Now this is another guy who fucking moved to Israel. And crazy part about that is he's not even Jewish. This dude isn't even Jewish. Packer, I don't even really know what but he's not Jewish. But here he is at the ADL doing some fucking event. And he moved to fucking Israel in 2015. And according to Brett, I have this article here. Ratner claims that Packer, who is not Jewish, had recently become an Israeli citizen and happens to live next door to Benjamin Netanyahu. So this guy, apparently, according to Brett Ratner, lives next to Benjamin Netanyahu. And we actually do know motherfucker is very close to Netanyahu. Oh, here's a picture of him and fucking Brett hanging out. Isn't that beautiful? Look at these guys. 2 peas in a fucking pod. Awesome. The bros. The Rat Pack. Hey, it's the Rat Pack. Can't you just picture this guy with a bunch of fucking shrimp grease on his hand? Anyway, they're gross. It's fine to be gross. It's just not this kind of gross. But get this, guys. Packer was engaged. He dated Mariah Carey and was engaged to her in 2016. Mariah Carey, who, as I'll remind you, had, a dozen music videos directed by none other than the rat himself, Brett Ratner. So they break up in 2016, and Packer said that their breakup was the darkest period of his life. I do think probably Ratner had something to do with them meeting, right? But all that aside, moving on. 2018, so this fucking guy, okay, so look at this picture. So here's, on the right here, that is, can anyone read Hebrew? That is Packer on the right. Sitting next to him, anyone recognize this little smiling cherubic individual over here. This is Netanyahu's fucking incel white nationalist Nazi son. Oh, and then over here, I forgot to mention, Bibi himself, Netanyahu himself. Now, James Packer, a non-Jewish guy who lives in Israel next door to Netanyahu and hangs out with his son all the time, he is hit with a massive corruption charge for bribing Netanyahu with $380,000 in gifts over 10 years. Case 100, which is also known as Cigars and Champagne, revolves around alleged bribery and paying for favors. Packer, along with Hollywood producer and former Mossad secret Israeli agent Arnon Milchan, are alleged to be those behind the payments. And they didn't even deny it. Netanyahu didn't even deny it. It's now up to the country's attorney general, blah, 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 blah. Israel's prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, is in trouble, and it partly stems from his close relationship with Australia's most recognizable billionaire, James Packer. The country's second longest serving prime minister is facing potential charges of fraud, bribery, breach of trust. Netanyahu does not deny accepting these gifts, but refutes allegations that he granted them any favors. He's like, no, they just gave me money and cigars and stuff. Milchan's personal assistant, Hadass Klein, told Israeli police in November that there was an understanding that Arnon, the Mossad guy who worked with Packer on this, there was an understanding that Arnon had to supply the Netanyahu couple with whatever they wanted. The cigars were requested by Netanyahu personally. The prime minister alleges that pink champagne and expensive jewelry requested by Netanyahu's wife, Sarah, were tokens of good friendship with Milchan. Crazy, okay, but it's crazy to be involved in like a big corruption scandal like this. Crazier still for it to be in Israel. I will say, I do think it's kind of funny. Like, I wonder if there's any conspiracy theorists out there who are concerned about the foreign influence of Australia on Israel because of people like Packer. I feel like that's like a little bit, this corruption scandal is crazy. It really feels like you're living in fucking bizarro world here. What is this? Opposite day? The Australians control the Israeli government? Anyway, it's billionaires. It's billionaires. Billionaires are bad, guys. We shouldn't have these things. Okay, anyway, that's enough of that. Moving on. Okay, so these ones were all, all the stuff so far about Packer is kind of fun. This one is not. This one's not fun, so I saved it for last. Here's another fun picture of the guy for you, just to tide you over. In 2019, texts leaked from 2014. So it is 2019 it happened, but the texts were from 2014. And this happened because there was a young woman, an aspiring actress named Charlotte Kirk, who had she had signed something like an NDA or something like that, or an agreement, gag order. And in 2019, her lawyers filed a petition for her to be able to violate this gag order that was put on her about this case, where she was essentially trafficked, I think we can say, non-consensually, from Packer to the fucking CEO of Warner Brothers, Kevin Sugihara. Remember, at the time, this guy is a Hollywood super producer for Rat Pack with Steve Mnuchin and Brett Ratner. Okay, and I'll read you what the allegations are here. This is a quote from this Hollywood Reporter article. Packer invited Kirk, a 21-year-old autistic woman with a fledgling acting career, to the hotel's presidential suite. So Packer says, the opportunity of a lifetime for you and an introduction to the most important man you can meet, who turned out to be Sugihara. According to the texts, Packer let her in, but somehow the two became separated. Classic fucking story, right? Like this happens a lot in Hollywood. Or like, there's fucking like, I believe this is what's her name talks about how she met Epstein. Her friend brought her over. This is Suzanne Urcha Johnson. Her friend brought her over to meet Epstein when she was like 17, 18 years old. Big difference, I know, but I forget how old. Brought her over and then left, and it was just Epstein and her alone. This is like a fucking like move to facilitate rape, basically. But anyway, so he does this. He brings her over to Sugihara and then leaves. And then Kirk, while she's there, she's texting Packer, being like, what the fuck, where are you? And she goes, he's not very nice, very pushy. These are 3 different texts. He's not very nice, very pushy. He just wants to fuck, nothing else. Does not even want to say anything. In the final exchange of the night, Kirk appeared to grow more alarmed, writing, James? ? Packer replied, you okay? You, letter U, letter O, letter K, and then be cool. So that's what we got. That's what this scandal was about. And, this doesn't specifically involve Brett Ratner, but I will say He was also served during this petition to violate the gag order. You'll notice. They were all served at the same time. Just film producer Brett Ratner, Warner Brothers chief Sujihara. So the three guys that were served in this case were Packer, who we know was involved as like the fucking piece of shit Hollywood producer who's trying to whatever give a young woman who wants to be a famous, give her body to whatever Warner Brothers CEO, possibly in exchange for favors to him and his production company. It also involved Sujihara, also served, who was the rapist himself. And Brett Ratner was also served with papers. Why? We don't know. We don't know what, if anything, he had to do with it. Yeah, go suck Yamada, says Ashley, Jamaican Goblin. Anyway, yeah, so that was our little detour into this fucking guy. And you know what? I didn't even scratch the surface. This is the tip of the iceberg. There's also a bunch of shit with money laundering and typical fucking corruption stuff. But I'm trying to give you a brief overview here of this guy and his connection to Brett. But moving on, we've got to talk about 2014's Hercules. Do you remember that this happened? Does anyone remember this? There was a movie directed by Brett Ratner in 2014. It was called Hercules, and it starred Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It was very bad. And that's about all I have to say about it. A Brett Ratner film. Guy's fucking putting his name on movie posters. Like he's the draw. Oh, this is the guy that made fucking Tower Heist. Now we're back to these. Here we go. Here is 2014. Brett Ratner and Irina Shayk. I'm guessing this is another model. I don't know. Well, let's look her up. A Russian fashion model. Yeah. You know, this is what I'm saying. Like I always say this. You can't trust anyone in the modeling industry. And Brett seems to be like a bridge between modeling world and Hollywood or whatever, music videos. Can't trust anybody in that industry. I mean, the models, maybe, some of them. But the fucking modeling agency, the agents, the scouts, the whatever, all of them are like predators and human traffickers. Irredeemable agency. The whole thing, we got to burn it all down. All right, it's done. All right, and here is another picture. Now this, what I know is a model, Miranda Kerr, who is an Australian, okay, Australia, Packer maybe connection, Victoria's Secret angel. Okay, then we got the Les Wexner connection. Let's move on to the Vanity Fair Oscar party in, oh, that's where this is. Sorry, that's the Vanity Fair Oscar party as well. Now you recognize this guy, Brett Ratner, of course, and then on the other side, the human thumb himself, James Packer, so billionaire, and in the middle, Lawrence Ho, another billionaire. And this is at the Studio City opening in Macau, China. Who's Lawrence Ho? What kind of billionaire is he? A Canadian businessman. Oh, maybe this is the Canadian guy from the Epstein list. I don't know. Oh, an investment banker at Jardine Fleming and Citibank. Took over operations at Melco International. Don't know what that is. And now now I see where the fucking Packer connection is. He refocused the company Melco International on leisure and entertainment, building and operating casino resorts in Macau. At Macau, the Philippines, and Cyprus. Now that is Packer's industry. That's what Packer does. One of those massive like hotels/casinos. Also what Trump does. A lot of dudes that own hotel shit get involved in fucking sleazy gang shit or mob shit, but also sexual blackmail, right? A lot of hotel owners fucking do that shit. They can whatever. They have all these rich diplomats and famous celebrities come, stay over. They could have put cameras in the walls, right? Anyway, I don't know. I'm literally just reading about this guy and I'm going full Whitney Webb on you. That's not fair. Maybe he's nice. Maybe he's cool and he runs a fucking line of casinos and he's actually a really good guy. And he's a billionaire and he's actually really sweet and nice. And his friends all think he's very thoughtful and engaging person to know. All right, and now... guess who we got here? Now we're looking at Brett Ratner on the right, Mariah Carey on the left. This is in 2016, and this is at a Rat Pack Entertainment event. In the middle there, this is the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. That's who it is there. What the fuck? Like, see what I mean? Like this guy, the dude can't make a fucking film. Terrible director, terrible person, physically repulsive, like personality-wise. Even more repulsive. Garbage human being, and it's clear from like 10 seconds of being in a room with him. But he has a talent. He has a real skill for cozying up to rich guys. This is what he thought. Rich guys love him. Rich guys love him. I don't know what it is about him. Because I find him unbearable. Anyway, so yeah, this is at a Rat Pack event. Mariah Carey's there. All right, sure. Moving on. Here he is. This is at a movie premiere in 2017. And 2017, what movie did he make in 2017? Did he make a movie in 2017? Hercules 2014. That was a bomb. Nobody fucking saw that shit. He directed a Mariah Carey music video in 2015. No, nothing. Yeah, he didn't direct anything in 2017. The last thing he directed was 2015. And then there's a big gap, you'll notice, right? Huge gap. And then in 2026, we're going to get his next movie. Fans who were waiting with bated breath after fucking, Mariah Carey movie. Oh, and Breakthrough, he didn't even direct it. He was just attached. So at one point they thought about having him direct. But the last thing he did before this was a fucking American Express commercial. So why the gap? Well, 2017, something happened. I think you guys might know where I'm heading with this. There's been a lot of little spoilers throughout. But 2017 is when Me Too happened. And all of a sudden, stuff like the stuff that, to use a very obvious example, I think, the shit Olivia Munn said in 2011 that no one really cared about, and people were writing jokey headlines like, Brett Ratner totally banged Olivia Munn. People didn't really care about that. And then Me Too happened, Weinstein happened, another guy with connections to Epstein. All of this shit went down, right? And Brett Ratner, oh my God, it's always the people you'd never expect, is accused of sexual misconduct, rape, LA Times. Let's start here. 6 women accuse filmmaker Brett Ratner of sexual harassment or misconduct, LA Times. This is like one of those pieces. Like this is like these journalistic pieces where they'd been working on it for a while. The journalists had collected these stories from all these women, fact-checked it, and blah, 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 blah. And then they come out with this article. A lot of work goes into shit like this. There's one of these for Louis C.K. There's one of these for, the fucking, what's his name? Ronan Farrow's work on Weinstein. Like, this is like one of those. I have represented Mr. Ratner for 2 decades. No woman has ever made a claim against him for sexual misconduct or sexual harassment. And furthermore, no woman has ever requested or received any financial settlement from my client. Oh my God, I didn't even know about this. So Olivia Munn wrote her book. And then on a television show a year later, Ratner, like in Olivia Munn's book, she doesn't say what director she's talking about. And then Brett Ratner on a this is how different things were in 2011. Ratner was the guy who said, yeah, that was me. Yeah, it was me. He comes out and he identifies himself as a director. And he was like, yeah, I banged her. Like we read that quote earlier. He goes, yeah, I banged her. And then I didn't know this part. Something he later said was not true. So he did lie about that. He didn't even keep that. So he gets accused of sexual assault. And he's like, yeah, that was me. I banged her. What are you going to say? And then Olivia was like, no, you didn't. We never had sex. You just jerked off in front of me, like without my consent. And then later on, he's like, yeah, she's right. I didn't bang her. But it's like, this guy's a fucking douchebag. This guy is the worst. This guy is the worst fucking frat bro, rapist, like incomprehensibly successful person on earth. Anyway, yeah. Ratner, 48, has long flaunted his playboy persona, bragging publicly about his sexual prowess. He's been romantically linked to Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan, and Mariah Carey. Oh, I didn't know he also dated Mariah Carey. Okay. In December, Tina Fey, speaking at the Hollywood Reporter's annual Women in Entertainment breakfast, cracked, Brett Ratner is here. In his defense, he thought this was a thing where you could eat breakfast off of 100 women. That's actually pretty funny. I don't know why I did the sarcastic thing. Palled around with Robert Evans. We had that photo of him there. Cocaine trafficker. This was one of his fucking lines. He's like, somebody's like, do you do rehearsals? He's like, rehearsals for F-slur for gay people. And that was one of his minor scandals. Anyway, yeah, Rat Pack, they go into a lot of this stuff. We don't need to get into it, but you get the idea. He gets Me Too'd, and he's done. He's done in Hollywood. Because we used to, during the Me Too era, people were kind of done. And a lot of people were kind of upset by that, right? Like a lot of powerful men behind the scenes were seeing this shit happen and be like, yo, what? Oh, that's a good point, actually, Mark. What Ratner said didn't even make sense. How is Olivia Munn trying to embarrass him if she didn't even name him? Yeah, she like in her book, she's like a director. And then he's like, yeah, that's not me. But no, he was like, that's me. And she's trying to embarrass. It's like, no, you embarrassed yourself, bro. But people still took his side. Again, this headline, Brett Ratner banged Olivia Munn. Come on, guys. Think about this for a second. Okay, now, I do want to show you this. Here it is. So this is a exchange between Epstein. This is from the J-Mails. And I don't know if I have the entire exchange. This is in 2017. Reed Weingarten is Epstein's lawyer and also like his personal friend. They were more than just lawyer and client. They used to talk a lot. And they talked a lot about politics, especially after Trump's election. You can see in this chain here, don't snicker, make fun, or call me a liberal douchebag, says Reed Weingarten. we are approaching public good versus evil in a fundamental way. Talking about Donald Trump. They're talking about the Mueller report. God, I remember this. So I don't know what they're talking about here, but it seems like they're talking about people getting Me Too'd. Because then look at this. On November 1st, Reed says, Charlie Rose is next. People getting canceled, right? Epstein messages him, number? I have a truly funny one. I think he's saying like, what's your number so I can call you maybe? I don't know. And then finally, on November 1st, 10 a.m., Epstein goes, Brett Ratner now. Oi. See that? And I got to draw your attention to two things here. The date, November 1st, 2017, 10 a.m., Brett Ratner now. Oi. And again, November 1st, 2017, 10 a.m. And that LA Times article that we just looked at, when was this published? November 1st, 2017, 5 a.m. So I think when they're like, Charlie Rose is next, Brett Ratner now, they're talking about people getting canceled, talking about people getting Me Too. They're talking about their friends, powerful men, crazy. It's crazy. Okay, now, this is when Brett Ratner's life enters a dark period. This is the dark ages on his IMDb profile. He didn't do anything for a long ass time. He does not do anything. Oh, wait, you know what? Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I almost forgot to mention the inevitable part, the inevitable thing that happens. In 2023, Ratner moves to Israel. Now look at this fucking rogues gallery, all right? We got Brett Ratner, Alan Dershowitz, Netanyahu, and Mrs. Netanyahu wearing looks like a silver chain necklace that may have been purchased for her by her neighbor, the Australian businessman, James Packer. Look at this. And now, apparently, Ratner in Israel is like close personal friends with Netanyahu, and they hang out all the time. Yeah, what the fuck do you do with that? So, yes, disgraced Hollywood director Brett Ratner, accused of rape and sexual misconduct, immigrates to Israel. So now he gets to live in Israel along with his best friend and business partner, Andrew Packer, the guy who directed the other two X-Men movies before The Last Stand, Bryan Singer, also a pedophile, a rapist. And this is from his fucking Instagram. And look at what he says. Whatever your political predispositions are, a historic peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia is good for the world. Okay, yeah. It's good that the two worst countries, the two most evil fucking regimes on earth are working together. Related article, Israel becoming a refuge for pedophiles. And to be fair, I don't know if this is to be fair, but Ratner didn't just move to, it's not as weird as Packer moving to Israel. Ratner did at least partially grow up in Israel. I think he went to high school in Israel. Let me double check that. I don't want to be telling any tales out of school here, but I believe he partially at least grew up in Israel. See, there's a big part of his early life that I would be so curious to understand. Oh my God, Ratner's mother was 16 when he was born? Jesus Christ. His mother was born in Cuba. Immigrated to the U.S. in the 1960s with her parents. What? That's interesting. Ronald Ratner. Okay, he didn't know his biological father. Considers Alvin Malnick, a lawyer and businessman with alleged organized crime ties who opened the restaurant The Forge in Miami Beach, to be his father, the one who raised him. Whoa, okay, Jesus Christ. Okay, you know what? I really should have done that. I really should have looked this up. That's interesting. He attended Rabbi Alexander S. Gross Hebrew Academy Elementary School and attended Alexander Muss High School in Israel. That's funny. I'm like, why is the whole thing like blue? No, the name of the school has in Israel at the end. No, it is in Israel. That's weird. It's a high school. Is this in Israel too? No, that's in Miami Beach. Okay, so he went to like a Hebrew Academy, I guess, elementary school, and then moved to Israel for high school. He was an extra on the set of Scarface while growing up in Miami Beach. What the fuck? His mother and biological father married. Oh, that's weird. They weren't together, but they married with the intention of legitimizing his status. Okay. That's so interesting. Yeah, he had a student film that was like good and was promising. And the rap group Public Enemy attended the film's premiere, asked Ratner to make the group's music videos. That's apparently how he got into it. And I know his girlfriend or wife at the time, what was her name? Gay something? Was in that. Anyway, I do think that there's a modeling connection here. I'm getting that vibe, but maybe it's just like overall I get a bad vibe from this guy that I assume he's like basically a human trafficker. When I say he's like in the modeling world, that's what I'm implying. Anyway, fucking who knows? Yeah, I bet his adopted dad knows the second shooter in Dealey Plaza. Yeah, it's Ted Cruz's dad. Yeah, organized crime, anti-Castro Cubans. This is like, I mean, I don't want to make any wild accusations here, but if you wanted to go real tinfoil hat with this guy, you certainly could make the case that he has some very real 60s CIA clandestine operations, Israeli fucking, Mossad, deep, dark, fucking glowy shit. But I don't know. I really don't know. There's a lot I wish I knew about him, because I do find him a fascinating asshole. Basically an openly bad person. Nonetheless, was very successful. Anyway, basically, like, it was announced after Trump had won the election in January 2025, probably like after Trump had been inaugurated, right? Oh, January 5th. Okay, so like around the day of the inauguration, like Trump gets inaugurated and they say, and by the way, Brett Ratner has been directing a movie about Melania, and it just finished filming today. That's when they made the announcement. And he directed it, his first movie in fucking a decade. He directed it. The movie started production 20 days before inauguration. It's a document. That's why it says in the fucking, no, not this one. This one. Wait, we got it here.
Here we go again.
Witness. Okay. History.
Beautiful.
In the making.
Together with like-minded leaders, we have a voice.
First of all, you're not a leader. And second of all, you barely say anything.
Is it
20 days
safe
to become first lady? So this is like, I'm sorry. This is not This is not fucking history being made. I assumed it was like the inauguration is the 20th? Oh, okay. All right. I was thinking Jan 6th, I guess. But like, okay, so is that it then? So if it's on the 20th, then it was just filmed over the month of January. So they made the announcements 5 days into the production. So it's like, it's just not interesting, because it's like, I thought it was going to be about the fucking lead up to the election. Like, that would have been interesting to have a fly on the wall, like somebody with a camera recording, like, even if it's not Donald Trump, like Melania Trump. That would be an interesting part of her life. But like, he's already won 20 days to become first lady. Like whatever. She just has to show up. What does she have to do? It's just not, what the fuck is, this is not history in them. Anyway, okay, whatever. They spent, and I got to go back to Wikipedia for this, Amazon MGM announced this January 2025, $40 million to license the film. Amazon based, this is a fucking money laundering operation. This is Amazon bribing. This is fucking Jeff Bezos doing the thing that what's his name Packer did to Netanyahu, just being like, and let me fucking way overpay for a fucking 20-day shoot movie that your wife was in. Here's $40 million. That's a crazy amount. That's like a record-breaking amount for documentaries. Insanely much. But any dang ways. Oh yes, January 6th is when the Congress certifies the election. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Brett, okay, I was going to ask you about this, Mark, because you mentioned that he may have reached out to Epstein. Mr. Epstein wrote to one confidant, so many guys caught in the Me Too reaching out to me asking, when does the madness stop? Yeah, I mean, that could be, although I couldn't find any emails from Ratner in Jmail, but I mean, Jmail doesn't have everything, but yeah, I mean, I could see that. Seems like they knew each other. Melania will mark Ratner's first film since numerous women accused him of sexual misconduct in 2017. In December 2025, a month before the documentary was set to be released, an Epstein Files photo was released revealing Ratner posing shirtless with notorious Epstein associate Jean-Luc Brunel. Yes, we know over that. That's this one right here, Ratner and Brunel. All right. Now, that's not the only movie you'll notice on the IMDb. There's previous movies, all these. Upcoming, we've got Melania. He was the director. And look at this, Rush Hour 4? Rush Hour 4 is in the development unknown. I mean, like, the plot's unknown, but okay. Jackie Chan apparently signed on. Chris Tucker signed on. Both of whom, by the way, have photos with Jeffrey Epstein. But hey, that's neither here nor there. What the fuck is up with that? Well, Trump pushes. This is from 1 month ago. This is from like right before the photo of Ratner came out. Trump pushes studio to make a sequel. This is the fucking president. Should the president be allowed to push studios to make movies? Push a studio to make a sequel to his favorite buddy cop movie. President reportedly wants to see more action movies being made. All right. Insane. And he goes, so like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And he's pushing who? Larry Ellison, Paramount's owner, the second richest man in the world, the guy, Ellison here. So, okay, this is what blew my mind. Trump is said, 79, is said to have personally pressed Ellison to make another installment of the Rush Hour franchise, Brett Ratner's buddy cop movie starring Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. The president reportedly wants to bring back the distant action movies and comedies that took over the film scene from the late 1980s to 1990s. Trump's been open about his love for action movies in the past. 1997 New Yorker profile, blah, blah, blah. He likes the movie Bloodsport, Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. But I just find it so crazy that he says, apparently he's saying that this is his favorite buddy cop movie. Because actually in this article it says, yeah, Jackie Chan is like very excusable. But Donald Trump actually has a kind of good taste in movies. All of his other favorite movies are Citizen Kane, incredible movie, not overrated. Even though everyone always says it's the best movie ever. If you haven't seen it, watch Citizen Kane. It's fucking good. It holds up. Goodfellas, such a good movie. Such a good movie that Scorsese's just basically been remaking it every other movie. Gone with the Wind. Okay, yeah, he's racist. Of course he likes Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind, you gotta be racist to enjoy it, but it's a good movie. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Possibly the best Western film ever. Western being like a massive genre. If you think you're sick of superhero movies, imagine that was every movie made for 5 decades, and this is the cream of the crop. So he likes all these movies and Rush Hour. Like, no, it's your friend. It's your friend, man. It's your fucking buddy who made a movie about how you're actually a cool guy and stealing from your tower was wrong. All of these are kind of classics. Can't really argue. Except for fucking Rush Hour. But yeah, so okay, he's got that. So Brett Ratner, he's got his fucking mojo back. He's making fucking the Melania Trump movie. Here we go again. That's what Brett Ratner said when he got invited back to Hollywood. He's like, oh, you want me to do another Rush Hour?
Here we go again.
Fucking so dramatic for nothing happening. And it's like what the... Anyway, whatever. Okay, and finally, we have come to the real meat here. Which is that, I've been trying to follow the Epstein files coming out, the whatever. I saw the Ratner thing and I was kind of like, oh my God, this fucking guy, of course he's there. But I didn't think too much of it. Okay, he's hugging Brunel. That's crazy. That's not good for him. He's finally trying to have his comeback and this is bad timing. But I actually think there's other stuff that I believe Mark has pointed out to me in the Discord, the Gobcord, that I actually think, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if I'm forgetting something, I think what I'm about to show you guys is the closest thing to actual sexual blackmail that we've seen. So at Epstein's house, all right, I'm going to take my time with this. Remember when we saw the room, and I just posted a video clip of me talking about this on another stream about Epstein's blackmail room, we called it. This is the room in Epstein's house where you walk in the door and there's a picture of Bill Clinton in a dress. And then you go in and there's all these screens that had cameras, all the hidden cameras in Epstein's house. Maria Farmer described it. You go in here, you look at the rooms, and it's toilet, bed, toilet, bed. It's bathrooms and bedrooms. That's according to Maria Farmer. And we don't have any videos or photos of these on or where these cameras led. But here's the room, and somewhere in the house, he's got all these binders, right? So you see all these binders here, and they've all got labels. And I don't know if you guys can read it. I don't think you really can, but some of this stuff says Walter Cronkite, St. Bart's, and then here's a box here, and this box says old pictures with different/important people. That's what it has down here. So we know Epstein has all these binders. We know he has these boxes full of photos with important people. And look at what we have frickin' found. Here is what looks like a page from a binder. And then, oh, look at this. Oh, that's from Epstein's New York mansion. And look, who are these bleeped out people? Who are these bleeped out people? We don't know. We don't know who they are. Oh, there's Epstein. Looks like a girl. Epstein, girl. Okay, we've got blonde girls sitting on Epstein's couch. And what's this? Who's this? Both of these faces are blanked out. You see this shit? Look at that. Look, you recognize that? I think you do. I think you know who that is. I think. Could it be this? Could this photo of Ratner and Brunel, like, they didn't have to protect either of these people, but I'm assuming at this point, the FBI isn't going over every page, are they? I assume they just have like fucking just get a AI to blank out everyone except for Epstein. Because very funny that they would redact these two guys when we have the full photo. But okay, so there's Ratner, white shirt, white loose shirt, and now look at these photos here. It's Ratner and a girl on a couch. Ratner and a girl on a couch. Epstein, girl on a couch. That's one. Now, okay, first of all, just to show you guys, We know where this is. So look at this room, right? Like, this is a very particular looking room. We've got this couch, this little pillow, this kind of gold side table, the rug, the wood floor, and then especially though, look up here behind Brunel's head, this weird seals of some kind, right? On this wood paneled thing. Well, now look at this room. Here's Epstein's office. Look at these things on the walls here, right? These little seals. You see those? Wider view of it here. You've got a couch. Okay, you've got this rug, these lamps, and I got to shout out Mark for finding these pictures. We got more pictures here. Epstein with a girl, Ratner with a girl, Epstein in between two girls with his arms around both girls. Really hard to tell who they are. We were talking about this in the Discord, trying to maybe guess if, is this Virginia? Is this whatever? But there's so many girls it could be, and all of the girls are sort of the same type. But now here, look at this. So they didn't blur out Brunel. That's Brunel. So yeah, look at Brunel here, shirt on in this picture, but his pants, like, yeah, you can blur out the man's face, but he has the world's most recognizable pants on, okay? This guy, I don't want to say he had style, but he had whatever you would say the opposite of style is. I suppose that is itself a form of style. But yeah, this guy with these sort of pants. So it's Brunel here. They didn't blur him out. They're like, he killed himself in prison. You know what? If anybody who's killed themselves in prison gets to have their faces shown in the Epstein files. I think maybe that's the rule. Let's keep going, okay? Epstein sandwiched between two girls. There's Brunel. And now look at the next picture. Epstein sandwiched between two girls. Brunel, another girl comes over. I think that's a girl. Yeah. That's another girl in the red. And then Ratner, look at him. Can you guys see that? Let me just make this even bigger so you guys can really see, because these are so small. Watch this progression, right? Epstein, two girls on this small couch. All right, next one over, the same four of them. And now this one is where it gets interesting. That's Ratner. That's Ratner in his white shirt. His pants are fucking falling off. We got to get this even bigger. His pants are falling off, loose belt, probably has shrimp in his hand, and he's crawling over the arm of the couch onto these girls, right? He's crawling over them, and then the other girl is just kind of sitting next to everyone. Next picture. They're just in a big pile. There's Ratner reaching across girl one. He's completely on top of her. You can just see her legs at the bottom there. I guess that's her face. He's reaching across her. I can't tell if he's touching her or Epstein, but it also looks like maybe there's an arm reaching across from this side. Is that the other girl's arm, I think? Yeah. A real squeeze in guys. Yeah. Squeeze in guys moment here. And then this girl, you ever been this person at the party? When maybe you're just not as drunk as everyone else, or you're just not really vibing with what's going on, and you're just kind of like, no, I'm fine over here. No, that's fine. You guys look like you're having fun. You ever been that guy or girl? That's a vibe I get here. Not really enjoying yourself. Next one here. There's Brunel. Epstein is gone. Epstein's out of the picture at this point. Now it's just Brunel. Maybe Epstein took, and also, who was taking the pictures? Maybe Guylaine? But we've got Brunel, got Ratner hugging this person. Whatever, there's another girl again, not on the couch, leaning in. Then the other girl leaves, and now look who it is. Now look at this. It's Epstein. Two girls on either side of him, kind of like, whatever, double hugging him. Ratner, now look at him. Ratner's sitting on the other side of the girl with his arms around her. And actually, wait, they didn't, now they stopped blurring out Ratner's face. We got Ratner's face here. Caught in not 4K. Caught in 4. Really, really bad resolution. But yeah, he's hugging up on this girl. Epstein with the two girls. Ratner trying to do the little sandwich of this girl. Now it gets close up. They start blurring out Ratner's face again. Now Ratner's protected. Ratner's fucking FBI insurance must have temporarily lapsed for these two. Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's keep looking here. Close up of Epstein smiling. Ratner blurred out. Girl. Ratner moves his arm onto the girl. Wasn't on here. Now he's kind of groping her there, reaching around in front. Let's try a different angle. Maybe it's Brunel. He's a modeling industry guy. Taking shots from all over the place. Moves over here. This girl there is no distance in between these two fucking sex predators. And again, I must point out, Ratner's face not blacked out in this one. I mean, you can't tell it's Ratner from that. You can only tell by comparing it to the one photo from the set that we actually do have, and his fucking stupid pants and shirt. Stupid pants, was that fair of me to say? I mean, I just don't like the guy. Where were we? Ah, yes, here they are. Now here we go. And then we got down here. More cuddling, more snuggling. Ratner is like really copping a feel here. It looks like he's like trying to reach into this girl's pocket, arms fully wrapped around her, and this one, arms fully wrapped around her. And then even Epstein is looking at Ratner like, dude, you're coming on a little strong here. But yo, I could not believe this shit. Because for years people talk about like, oh, Epstein kept all these files on people. And, you know, there's a lot of like very interesting evidence that like would lead you to believe that that might have been what was happening. But then it's just like, we've never really found anything like that, right? That I can really think of. I mean, I guess there's the one of Bill Clinton getting the massage at the airport from Chauncey Davis. Yeah, it looks like they're on Molly. I mean, yeah. I mean, I was thinking maybe alcohol and cocaine. Brunel, famous cokehead, but totally could see that being Molly with all the cuddling. And this actually too. You know what? Good call. This does seem like a Molly night. So yeah, it looks like 4 girls, 1 white, gray, blue, red. Yeah. I think that's right. Yeah, 4 girls, and then the Epstein, Brunel, Brett Ratner, and I think there's got to be one other person there taking pictures, right? Because there's at least, isn't there I think there's a photo where all of those people are in the shot. The one on the couch, right? Red, Brunel, Ratner, Epstein. Oh wait, oh no. So actually, if there's 4 girls, there's 4 girls, then I think there's only 3 in this shot. So maybe it was the 4th girl. Okay, there you go. So Ghislaine maybe wasn't there. Okay, cool. Yeah, good call. I think earlier it was Epstein was taking photos at the start because Epstein doesn't come in them until here. Then I think that is probably not fucking. It's not Ratner. Ratner doesn't know what to do with the camera. Ratner has no love for the film art. I think it's Brunel. Brunel is taking these. And then when Brunel gets on the couch, I think he hands the camera to the other girl, get a photo of us, and then they all kind of whatever. We don't know when this was. We don't know who the girls were. We don't know how old they were. We don't know anything about them. But I still think this looks bad. And I mean, if they were underage, this could be blackmail material by itself. And if they weren't underage, I mean, it could be. I don't know. Could be anything. I mean, if it was just like a Molly night, to be the absolute, whatever, like benefit of the doubt here, it is possible this is just like a series of photos of people on Molly in like a big cuddle puddle, and they just took it to share between each other. I don't know. Like that could be it. Like I have photo albums like that, but I don't know. Considering there's these 3 guys here are 3 of the biggest pieces of shit I could even name, I've got to think there's something more sinister going on. But anyway, who knows? Gang, that's what I got. I feel like many years of hating Brett Ratner and trying not to be a spoil sport when people mention that they liked fucking Prison Break or whatever. I let it go, but this is my moment. I had to do something. I had to do something about this. And this is what I decided to do. I had a lot to get out of my system. Thanks for watching my little fucking very cathartic Brett Ratner stream. This guy doesn't only make movies I disrespect. This guy is not only a total douchebag and a piece of shit. This guy is not only fucking directing fucking Trump propaganda money laundering glorified, puff pieces for the worst people on earth. He's also in the Epstein files in maybe the worst way that I've ever seen anyone be in the Epstein files. I haven't seen any reporting on this yet. So presumably at some point, some people are going to make a big deal about this. But yeah, glad you guys could be there with me for that. And that's it for me. So yeah, good night, everybody. Peace. Oh, dude. Oh, 100%. Like, not even a fair comparison. Like, Michael Bay, the guy makes trash as well, but there's heart to it. All right? It's what he does is fundamentally like different than what Brett Ratner shits out, the slop he makes. Michael Bay has a vision, at least. I don't particularly like it, but